Thank you very much, Jadoon Saab, Tahir Saab, Sheikh Imran Saab, Masroor और पूरी team जो वहाँ बैठी हुई है. And more or less, what I'm going to present over here today, it's the same presentation which we made to OGRA. When this thing started, and after taking the industry concerns, OMC as well as refinery concerns, we had two meetings. So I will be summarizing what we have already presented to OGRA, and my colleagues in OGRA, it will be a repetition for them. As Sheikh Imran Saab has said, that this is not a new idea. I've been in this industry for past 25, 30 years, and I've seen it happening in 1998. I've seen it happening in 2000 when we deregulated furnace oil and, the import of HSD and the deregulation of HOBC. Here, I would like to make a point that past 1.5 years, Mehman Saab is sitting here, Masood is sitting here, but we have been trying and struggling with the government that at least those products which we can deregulate easily, they do not have any significant impact. They do not have any, the product sales are less than 100,000 metric ton in a year. Let's go ahead with that. And then we will be left with only two products, motor gasoline and HSD. I'm sorry to say that for past 1.5 years, I've been struggling, knocking at every door, and we haven't succeeded so far. So that the LDO is deregulated or kerosene is deregulated. Already we have got deregulation of furnace oil, HOBC, JP1, JP8. These four products are deregulated. Now, if we do away with LDO and kerosene, which is not a big deal, the total impact on IFEM is very minimal. But for reason best known to the decision makers, these things are being since the independence, we are energy deficit country, and everybody knows that there was a slight period during 1960s when we were, comfortable and we were not importing any product. But after that, if you look at our supply chain break, the maximum our local refineries, 5 local refineries have produced. I do not consider NR as a part of main supply chain because there's a special refinery. We have produced only 12.7 million ton is the maximum production of local refineries of all the finished product. And our oil market dynamics or total sales in Pakistan are varying so much. We have seen the COVID things, we have seen the current floods. So it is going up and down, and the maximum we have seen is around 25 million metric ton. And now, we are seeing decrease. We have seen the decrease to up to 19.5, 2020. Local refineries are supplying more than 50% of the product. Percentage keeps on changing depending upon the market size. And about 10, 11 million ton of motor gasoline and HSD is being imported, which affects, motor gasoline is as we say, that 35% of the motor gasoline is used by the two-wheeler or three-wheelers. My personal view is, you have got the presentation. I will not go into detail. I don't have much time. But there are three issues which I think is the fundamental before we go ahead. Number one, if we go on and deregulate the ex-refinery price as the idea is, we cannot survive, as Masroor Saab has explained in detail that what penalties are there. 5 refineries have got 5 different specifications of HSD and motor gasoline. Import specifications are different. The first and fundamental thing is the approval of refinery policy, which has been going around for 2.5 years. We are knocking at every door. Irrespective of who is in the power. So far, in 2.5 years, there is no progress at all. And I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel that it will be approved in a month, it will be approved in 2 months, Until unless we have got a refinery policy clearly in place, then we can develop a roadmap easily that, okay, refinery policy is in place, refineries is given a time frame that by year 2025, 26, 27, you have to come up with the specification, which are the import specification of the country. Either you follow that or you are on your own. It will be an uphill task to deregulate the product because we are, as Masroor said, that consumption center is in central and north. and availability in the south, and we are using a pipeline to transport the product. And what is practically happening that we are importing Euro 5 product, but when it reaches to the destination selling point, main consumption center, it is no more Euro 5. Yeah, that is a practical reality. That is the first thing which we have to do. Number two, as Masood, I will not go into the details of pricing. What is the pricing structure? We all know what is the pricing strategy. The fundamental thing is that the government of Pakistan should do away of dealing with the retail outlets leadership. They are the franchisee of oil marketing companies. Let the oil marketing companies deal with them. This kind of philosophy that the franchisee of a company go directly to the government and they are being entertained because of their pressure group value or nuisance value which they can create by closing down the pumps. That puts the oil marketing company in a disadvantageous position, and they cannot work. So the second thing which I personally feel, and this is, I think my colleagues in industry will agree with my suggestion, that let the OMCs deal with their franchisees. Government has no role to play in the margins of dealers or to negotiate with them but they exploit their nuisance value and do that. And the third and the most important point, which I'm going to highlight over here, and some of my colleagues may not like it, what I'm going to say, is that we take, in my presentation, you can see the model, 3 different model, which has been given to me by my colleagues in TPPL, Philippine model, China model, France model, all these models are available with us, how it was done. But we have to adopt these models according to our conditions in Pakistan. And these models, Masroor Saab knows it very well. I don't know whether it will be appropriate to say over here. We have got hundreds of years of experience sitting in this webinar. But the problem is when we try to develop a TOR or try to get a consultant in Pakistan, fortunately or unfortunately, nobody is interested in working with oil industry in Pakistan. The reason best known to all of you, because some of the consultants who are well versed with the oil industry workings, they have faced certain investigative agencies in the past, and since they have got partners in the multinational and they have got their own checklist, they're not coming to help us. And I will not go into the detail what is happening, but the most important thing is that we need a technical panel to guide us through this process. We can discuss it over here. We can go on and on this. As I've said, refinery policies, the lack of expertise, I don't mean to disrespect anybody sitting over here, but the expertise in Pakistan for taking the industry through deregulation in a way that the impediments which has been highlighted by Ogra and Sheikh Saab has also said. And there is another point which pertains to Ogra, that the audit has been delayed, and until unless we settle those audits before time, it will be difficult to move ahead. And my last point will be that we need political will to do deregulation. Fortunately or unfortunately, in the last 12, 13 years, there are talks and talks and talks. But I don't think, this is my personal view, please, this is not the industry view, I'm giving you my personal view. In Pakistan, no political government has the will to do the deregulation. Reason, Masoor has explained beautifully, that the price in Karachi will be different, and the consumption center who is producing agriculture product or any product, they will be getting product at a higher rate. And the political backlash of this in Pakistan, I don't see any government taking steps to implement and say, okay, we are going to go ahead with it. And secondly, the OMC margin and the dealer margin must be a pool with the OMC, and so that they can change and create competition. The competition, there is the fear that there will be cartelization and this and that. These things happen. And practically, if you look at today, the ground realities are totally different than what we say. We say that the X depot prices at X location, 20 location, 23 location, 24 location are same. But if you go out of 6 major cities, if you travel into the smaller cities, you will find that the prices are totally different than the selling price which has been announced. So it is happening over there. So to conclude, number one, refinery policy has to be passed, and so that we can develop a roadmap. What is going to happen? Otherwise, these the 55 billion pool or 50 billion pool which Ogra has mentioned, it has got so many smaller streams coming into that pool and going out to the OMCs. This needs to be, do it in the proper way. The government get out of fixing margins for dealers and OMCs, and OMCs and dealers decide for their own. Number three, political will is paramount. Until unless it is there that, okay, we are going ahead, we will face the consequences, whatever the music is played when the product prices are different in different cities. I know, I've seen that in 2010, some of our parliamentarians came to Ministry of Petroleum and they claimed that, okay, if you are deregulating petroleum prices, then you have to deregulate the electricity prices as well. So there are far-reaching consequences of this, but we cannot just say that, okay, this cannot be done. It can be done. We need to have a roadmap which defines refinery policy first, dealer and OMC margin. It can be done today by decision. By deregulating two products which doesn't have any significant impact on our supply chain. And as Masroor has rightly said, we have to protect our local industry. Our local industry, which supplies to us about 11 to 12 million metric ton product every year. So we have to protect them. It is available. It provides employment, and it will be the right approach. That it cannot happen that you import from outside cheaper, because our industry, the refining industry, by importing crude cannot compete with the refiner like Saudi Aramco, which has got upstream, midstream with them, and the margins are totally different. So this is my take on it. Thank you very much for being patient, and
Thank you.
I will take the question as Imran Sahab has said later.